Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the P40 Leoncello. Now, as many of you may know, this tank for just over a year has been one of only 2 Italian ground forces vehicles in the game, this actually being the only one that is actually an Italian built vehicle out of the 2. Now, I'm in a game on Poland. I start off by seeing a Sherman. I do take a random shot and I'm lucky enough to actually take out his track. Shermans, T-34s and M10s are definitely things to be very careful of, but luckily I'm able to put an APC-BC shell straight into the side of his turret, and luckily it explodes inwards and knocks out the crew. So that is my first frag of this game. Next up, we have something a little bit more difficult to pen. This is a Churchill. So I start off with an APC-BC. That only has about 75mm of pen. I jump over to the heat round, which has 100mm. That's what I tend to use on the more heavily armoured vehicles. I take another shot, and again, I don't do anything. It's very obvious to me I'm going to have to get closer. So I'd be a bit risky. I move in to get closer, and luckily enough, I'm able to hit the weaker bit of the armour on the chassis, and it actually explodes through and kills the crew. Looks like we have an M3, let's take him out. There we go. The only issue with the heat round is it has the more pen, but it doesn't have the best actual explosive force, so it's likely you will go through the armour of anything you're fighting, but you will not kill the enemy tank. If you're using APC-BC and you can pen, it's incredibly likely you are going to kill with your first shot. But I have 2 kills and 1 assist so far, so definitely not going too badly. A lot of people seem to have the impression that World War II Italian-built tanks are going to be rather bad. That's not what I found with this. I used to think that, but now I just find it as a really fun vehicle. Now, there is a Crusader, just trying to fire some shots. Unfortunately, I did hit the stone wall near the church, so I'm going to try and be a bit sneaky, try and stay fairly sort of stealthy in this sort of shadowed area, but I know where he is, and I'm going to keep an eye out. Now, with this armour, I will not lie, the armour is kind of bad, although, surprisingly enough, it will bounce shots at sometimes even up tiers. Up tier games can be difficult, very difficult, mainly because T-34s, Shermans, M10s especially, facing them can be difficult. But down tiers, incredibly fun. At its own tier, it can be used very well. And even in up tier games, this is roughly at its tier. I did see a Sherman, of course, but this is roughly at the vehicle's tier. Up tiers are a bit more difficult, but, you know, I think at its tier and up tiers it can be difficult, but if you know how to use it, you can do very well. I think that's the way you can say, the way you can describe a lot of tanks. Now, luckily, this does have smoke. It has 5 smoke grenades on the back. I have been shot and my turret's been damaged, so I've dropped a smoke grenade. Luckily, they missed that second shot. I'm just going to turn. Unfortunately, the reverse gear and the turning in reverse is rather cumbersome, so you do need to be pretty careful with that in terms of not getting yourself into situations where reversing quickly is going to be something you majorly need to do. Now, this situation is about to turn a bit hairy. The enemy team are getting very close to the A point. They're killing people on both sides of me. So I'm going to just hide behind this building and try and repair my tank as quick as possible before I get picked off. Now, a few things I do want to mention in terms of the tank itself. First off, the model is very nice. It was a user-made model. I don't believe it was on Live.War Thunder at any point, but it was made by a user of the Italian community for this. And I believe they also made the new Semavente premium vehicle, the new Tier 3 tank destroyer. But this is a very nice model, I will say. I really do actually like the riveted design. Reminds me a lot of British tanks like the Cromwell. And also the camouflage is very nice. And of course, this is of the Leoncello division, I believe, which is the same division as the new tank destroyer, which is why they share a similar camouflage. Now, as you can see, though, I have dropped another smoke grenade, and I have seen an enemy tank coming towards me. I do need to be rather careful, but, you know, that smoke grenade should protect me from people behind, at least temporarily. I don't think that other enemy tank's moved up, so I do need to be careful, because he might be flanking around, which could definitely be bad news for me, for sure, so I do need to be rather careful. But my repair is now done, so I can shoot. The gun isn't, obviously, I've told you the shell values of 75 and 100mm. Not the best for up tiers against Shermans and such, especially against angles. But, you know, if you shoot the right places, you should be able to do it. With Shermans, I would advise take the turret out. The turret is fairly easy. Like I did with that first kill, I hit the turret with an APC-BC, it went through, and the explosion knocked out the crew. You will find that's not actually that difficult to do. Now, the enemy team has capped the A point. Now it's time for some sneaky breaky. Now, first off, I did just quickly check to the left. It looked fairly clear, so I'm just going to charge in. I know that they're not on their side of A, so I'm presuming that they're here. Now I move in, and what do I see? Oh, look, there is a machine gun sticking up. I believe that is probably a Stuart. It looks like a Stuart, probably an M5. And there's also an M10, So what I decided is that the Stuart can actually, you will bounce shots from the 37mm quite often. And it looks like he's moving away. So my first priority really is taking out the M10. That's the major threat right now. So I take him out with a cheeky APC-BC, and the next thing to do is take out the Stuart, who does drive forward, does shoot at me, or at least tries to, before I pump another APC-BC shell into him, killing him. And now I'm just recapping the base, although I did see some enemy vehicles down there, so I do need to be careful. Can I see them? Yep, there is someone there, and there we go. I took out another Stuart. I know there's another enemy tank. While the A point's uncapping, I'm just seeing if I could take any more out. I'm going to head down there, see what I can do. Oh, I am being shot at. This could be a fairly bad situation. Looks like I might be surrounded. Oh, yep, they are shooting at me. Where are they? There they are. Oh, and it is an eye for an eye. We both killed each other. It is rather interesting when that happens, but still, 7 kills, 1 assist, not bad for the first life. And of course, before the Italian tech tree is fully released, this vehicle gets 3 respawns. So for my next respawn, I jump in and begin to move back to try and recap, well, not recap the A point, but at least protect the A point from any future captures from the enemy. I do need to be careful because, of course, later on in the games on Poland, it's highly likely enemy vehicles are going to be moving out onto the top of that hill over there to be able to snipe down onto the A point, especially since we've captured it. And as you can see, the enemy team are now capping the point. So it is my mission to move in and attempt to recapture it, which I'm hoping will go fairly well. Now this tank, I did say the reverse speed's fairly bad. You know, for the forward drive speed, I'm going to say the complete opposite. It's very good forward drive speed. The mobility, the turning is rather impressive. The top speed is not that bad. I think in terms of mobility, I would say it's very much like a Italian T-34 basically. In terms of how it handles, it's like a T-34. The rounds in the gun definitely have similar pen to those of the early T-34s. So personally, I would just describe this really as an Italian T-34. Definitely something very fun that I personally am enjoying quite a bit. Initially, when I got this vehicle about a year ago when it was first released, I thought it was kind of rubbish. I didn't exactly enjoy it that much. But you know, I've over the past year, I've played it bit by bit, and especially since the announcement of the Italian tech tree, I thought, you know what? I'm probably going to use this at least in some capacity to grind this tech tree, so I might as well give it a go and get good with it. And there's a British tank. There we go, took out the turret effectively. Let's try and pump another shot in. And there we go. No, didn't kill him. Okay, let's see if we can get close and pump a shot in. I have damaged his turret, so he shouldn't be able to shoot for now. And there we go, APC-BC does the job again. Oh, there's an M22. Now, the one thing that does annoy me, as with actually a lot of low-tier tanks, is the turret traverse. Despite these, the actual chassis performance being good with the speed and mobility, the turret turn ain't so good, as you saw with that M22. If he hadn't been killed by a teammate, he likely would have killed me, as I wasn't able to get my turret on target as quickly as I would have liked. Although, you know, I think playing this tank, at least on this map, in urban combat areas, is definitely something it excels in. You want to be, sort of stay hidden in between buildings, try and be as hidden as possible. The armor is on the front, at least partially angled. That will bounce a few shots, but do not be mistaken, at your tier or in an up tier game, do not rely on this armor. You will die. The armor will not protect you. It's 75mm, I believe, on the upper frontal plate, which yes is angled, but a lot of the shells at this rating will likely go through that fairly easily. So it is definitely something you want to be very careful of. And now, at least for now, in terms of oh, what do we got here? Stuart. Yep, there we go. That's another Stuart killed. Now, as I was saying, if you want to take a good lineup for premiums, at least, what I currently have in this lineup is the Romanian Duck, the HS-129, the Italian Spitfire Mark 5 Trop, and also the P40. That is my 3.3 lineup effectively. It's what I use. The Duck can actually be very useful at this rating with the 37mm cannon, and it has about 142mm of pen, I believe, on the best shell, at closest range of course, and that is actually enough to be able to get a few frags with the Duck. The only issue is it's not very manoeuvrable and it's fairly slow, so that can be something that will lead to your death very easily. Another thing, the Spitfire Mark 5B Trop, the Duck is a rare vehicle. The 5B Trop is currently available, I believe. Do let me know if the Duck is, because they added it back for the anniversary, and I'm not sure if they've removed it yet. Do let me know what's going on with that. But on the other side, the Spitfire Mark 5B. First off, I love it on the British. It's a very fun vehicle, and you know, as you can see there, at long range, you have no chance of penning a Sherman, so do be very careful there. But with the Spitfire, it is manoeuvrable, it is fairly quick, the guns are very good. Obviously, it's not a ground attack aircraft, although you can use it to take out a few small flak trucks. But, you know, it's definitely the kind of thing you want to use as fighter-to-fighter, which you are going to see in a minute, as I'm about to be killed by a M10 and a Sherman sort of working together. The M10's behind me, he just knocked out my engine, and a Sherman's going to come along in front of me up on that hill over there and snipe down and kill me. I believe it was the same Sherman I shot at a minute ago, but as you can see, that slow turret traverse again, trying to get it on target. And what I'm not expecting is the Sherman in front of me, as the M10 is hiding, but I sort of focus on him too long. As you can see, it bounces. M10s, they can be annoying. American tanks are annoying. T-34s with the angled decent armor can be annoying as well. But if you can get a good shot on the side in the right place, you will kill them. So now jumping over into the Spitfire, this thing is rather fun. As I said, fast, manoeuvrable, and you know, for some reason in Tank RB at the lower tiers, you do still come across a lot of tier 1 aircraft, whereas this thing is a tier 3, so you definitely have a lot of fun. And I do really like also a few updates ago, they did improve the Spitfire model in game, and that's definitely something very appreciated. Now here is an enemy aircraft, let's try and take him out. It looks to be a Hurricane. And there we go, completely shredded him to pieces with those Hispano 20mm, so very nice armament on this aircraft, as well as the manoeuvrability. But yeah, no, definitely this is a very nice aircraft to grind with as well. But although that looks to be the end of the game, we've recapped the A point and their points are going to slowly trickle down. I believe before the end of the game I do get one more kill on this P shooter. But back to the P40, in terms of the P40, it does not get you as much XP or research points, obviously, as the M26 Premium, but I would say it is still a very fun vehicle to grind, and if you don't want to copy and paste, it's probably the best one to go for, as the Italian Tier 3 Tank Destroyer Premium, at least from what I know so far, doesn't look to be that good, but of course I will make opinions on that in the dev server. Anyway though, thanks a lot for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider smashing the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you do, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.